Substitution for the Red Bulls. Now they're feeling comfortable about things. Julie, what can you tell us?
Well, I just spoke with assistant coach Dennis Hamlet, who told me they want to bring on Alex Muyl. They want him to be a difference maker in the final third.
Muyl, born on the Lower East Side, is on. It's a mistake at the back. Right, Phillips able to pick it up, trying to cut it back on Frederick Briant. Sets it up instead for the 5th goal. Alex Muyl, his first for the Red Bulls, his first in MLS, comes in a rivalry game that's in his blood for the Manhattan native. What a great moment from him.
That was a crazy day. It was one of those midday games at Yankee Stadium. It was my first time actually at Yankee Stadium for anything. I remember those days, like when I was on the bench, I was so nervous all the time about like going in. I didn't want to go in and ruin the game. Whenever we were scoring, I was like celebrating twice as hard as everyone else because I was like, all right, if we're up 4-0 and I go in, it doesn't matter, it's all good. So we ended up scoring the 4th goal, and I think Jesse wanted to give me some minutes in that kind of environment, like a derby game. So he called me up, and I was very nervous. Bradley gets it, cuts it back to me at the top, and I just put my head down and struck it like a pretty good, clean hit. And after that, just kind of blacked out. My funniest story about that actually is my parents and my sister were all there, and I ended up taking the subway back home with them afterwards. And I think I was like low sugar, and so I was kind of like, I felt like I was gonna pass out on my way home. So we went into a grocery store to grab some candy, and some dude was like, "Oh, I was just watching that game," and I was just like, "Cool, man." I had the Red Bull jacket on. It was funny. You know, growing up in the city playing soccer, it's not everyone's doing it, but I think my generation was the beginning of more kids doing it. So for us, we always had to travel pretty far to find games and to find space to play on, because as you know, New York City there's not much grass, so obviously even there's not much turf. So for us, it was always traveling and really just the community of that. Guys get on the train together and getting from here to there, from training back home. It was always a nice community.
Aaron Long celebration.
You look like the loafing cow.
That's my mama. Oh my God, dude, such a clown. She wears that around the house all the time. She's cooking dinner, she'll just throw this guy on.
He's a really pleasant roommate, I have to say. Very easygoing, very easy to live with. No conflicts, very accommodating. It's been a pleasure, and I'll miss him when he's gone.
I'm staying.
Darn. He was high energy, but he also had a calm focus. I used to joke that he had 2 speeds. He was either really busy and engaged, or he was really internally focused, but always enthusiastic. Whatever he did it with passion. What he liked, he loved.
Yeah, I was probably 6 or 7 when I first started, and by like a year or 2 in, I knew that I really enjoyed doing it. I just played for a local club called Manhattan Kickers. That was probably like the beginning of the love affair with soccer for me.
Yeah, we already had so much. Like they were doing it already.
But I had like some stuff when he was in the national team, when he was like a kid.
I was playing with Cosmos at the time. I scored a goal against New York Red Bulls.
Oh, really?
That's right before I joined the Red Bulls.
I actually had a match against the Red Bulls Academy, and I had a good game, and they invited me to come out and train. And I was getting to the point in my career where it was time maybe to take the next step to a more professional environment.
He dribbles like 4 guys.
This sounds great too. They all tackle me.
After all the travel soccer, the Red Bulls Academy was like, you knew that your kid was in good hands with the academy as a whole, with the coaching, and it was sort of like a good, it's kind of like bringing your kids to like a good school, and you sort of trust the school. You felt like that, with Red Bulls Academy personally.
I used to have to take the subway to the Path to New Jersey Transit, and that was a long commute. I'd have to get home. I'd get home usually around like 10:30, 11 at night, and have to do homework and then go to bed and do it all over the next day. So that was always a grind, but it taught me a lot of lessons, and it made me, I think, learn to budget my time and just stay focused.
Alex, beautiful.
My family, in a way that they're kind of an escape from soccer as well, because they were never pushing me too much. They more just facilitated it. If it was really important to me, they wanted to help make it happen. Whether that was, taking me to games, or my mother, when I get home at 10:30 or 11 at night, there was always dinner on the table. I always say that it was really a team effort, all of us, and I do feel really lucky and privileged. And I know there's people who don't get that kind of support, and that because of that, they're not able to take the next step. And I really think I am aware of that.
You look great, man.
Thanks, buddy. I forgot my jacket.
Alex, even though you've signed that first professional contract, talk about what it's like to be down here on draft day and still just be kind of associated with the whole day.
I think it's a really exciting process. It's something that, as a kid, you're thinking about all the time, and obviously I went a different route, but I think it's really cool to be here, to get some recognition for what happened. It's obviously really exciting, something that I wanted to do since I joined the club in the academy, and I think that it's also really encouraging to kids who are coming through now as well, because they see that it's possible and it's the club's paying attention to them. So I think it's just really a dream come true.
What up, boy? Want to give us a ride? Let's go. Thinking about how hard it was at times, I can't imagine how it would be if I didn't have friendly faces around and people I knew. Guys like Derek, who I've literally known him since we were like little kids. Sean Davis, who I feel like we've been on the same path from pretty much the same time. The role he's taken with this team is, something that I'm really, I look up to him for. I think he's unbelievable, the way he carries himself. It's so fun to just be able to share all these moments with them and have guys like that who, you really have come pretty far with each other. And they're guys that I think every one of us admires one another and loves one another, and we might be hard on each other sometimes, but it's really a special place.
Listen, a lot of things that happened this year has been ups and downs already, and they already don't want to talk about us. LA comes in here, they only want to talk about Zlatan LA, and I love it. All right, let's put them in a game that they don't know how to play, a game they're not ready for, a game they don't like, and let's get after them.
I mean, the landscape of the team is really different than when I first came in. I think when I first came in, I was one of the only young guys, and now it just feels like it's all young guys. And I'm 23, but I'm still not even close to the youngest guy here. You don't really realize while you're in it that you're growing. I think you look back with 2 years later, 3 years later, like, wow, I was a kid back then. But now that I'm 23, I think, I do feel like a lot more of a man and someone that, just has more experience. I think I have really high standards for myself. I'm someone who expects a lot for myself and really wants a lot, and I think I have a lot of ambition. Basically just being ready whenever my number's called to have a good performance. You like this guy? Yeah, that's the guy you did. That's amazing. I think we're supposed to sign it for each other. When we were doing a partnership with Tackle Kids Cancer, we were matched up with kids and designing cleats to actually wear before a game, and an artist was able to take what we drew and put them onto the cleat, and I was matched with a little girl named Sophia. I remember that day she was exhausted. She had done chemo the day before, I think. She was the youngest by far, and she apparently fell in love with me. She comes out to a lot of games. She gave me this shirt that I wear to home games, and so ever since then we've had a really nice connection.
I'm also proud of him for the person he is as a person, and not necessarily as a soccer player. But there's a lot of ways that he deals with the ups and downs and the ins and outs of the very tough profession that he's in, and I'm really proud of him for that. I'm very proud of him for being charitable and involving with young kids and the charities of the Red Bulls. That I think is awesome.
Hey, does anyone have anything they want to say before anyone want to? I don't even think they think of it as charity. I think more they think about it as sharing their time and sharing their energy and their life with all types of people. And I think that's a really good way to live. It's something a way that I was brought up, to think about everybody, to be generous. It's just a reminder, I think, to me, and I think to a lot of the guys who see that kind of stuff and who are involved in this kind of stuff, that there's a lot bigger things in life than soccer, and that we're lucky enough to be in a position where we can inspire people and we can give people hope and strength, and they're doing the same thing for us. So I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of, and something that stuck with me the most.
Your goals against San Jose were so.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I want to keep growing and doing more to help the club. So I think that's my main drive. I want to win things. I think I'm a winner, and it really hurts to lose, and it hurts when I'm not successful. So I think that's my main drive. I think New York will always be home. When I leave for any extended period of time, you know, I start to go a little bit crazy and I have to come back. And there's also just, the city is more than just a place, it's also the people and the relationships you have. And for me, I think that's always going to be big in my heart.